Ashton Kutcher and him they were real tight. One time, me, him, Ashton Kutcher went to a Nets game, and we met Jay-Z there. You know what I'm saying? So they were close. They was.
Wow. Okay, I've got a lot I can't tell. So, I can't tell that one either. I mean, I'm like actually cycling through.
Young lady, throw your hands in the air. Black guy, throw your hands in the air.
Kutcher looked in the window and saw what he thought was spilled wine on the floor. We believe now the evidence will show that was actually.
Wow. Okay, I've got a lot I can't tell. So, I can't tell that one either. I mean, I'm like actually cycling through them. There was one moment. So it's not really a party story, but our relationship was really bizarre. So it started over punked because he was like, "Yo,
don't punk
you
me.
can't punk me," and I was like, "I don't know what to tell you. Everybody's on the table." He's like, "Not me. I'm off the table." And so that started our conversation. We became fast friends, and we used to just hang out, watch football together.
For someone who used to be everywhere, Ashton Kutcher has been nowhere. No interviews, no paparazzi shots, not even a blurry phone pic outside Area 1. Just gone. And the timing, a little too perfect. Because right as the walls started closing in around Diddy, Ashton vanished like smoke. Now the rumors are flying. Some say he's laying low, others claim he might have been quietly brought in for questioning. It sounds wild. Until you realize who Ashton's been seen with over the years. The same circles, the same parties, the same secrets. People aren't just guessing anymore. They're connecting dots. And when you zoom out, the picture is more unsettling than anyone expected. But if you thought that was strange, what came next was even darker.
Now, one of the biggest moments came early when the defense asked the judge to declare a mistrial. The motion rejected. We also heard from a former stylist at Diddy's company. Now, he testified that Diddy threatened to leak sex tapes of her online. He said he saw Diddy beat his friend Cassie and heard him vow to bury her music if she didn't do what he said. The stylist's name is Deontay Nash.
As soon as Diddy's legal troubles started making headlines, Ashton's name started appearing in online speculation. First quietly, then with more confidence. Whispers turned into threads, and threads into claims that Ashton might not just be on the sidelines. Some believe he may have been asked to provide information. And the sudden radio silence? That's not like him. Ashton built a brand on being open, visible, and charming. So when he disappeared overnight, people started asking questions. It wasn't just the red carpets, it was everything. Not a single public moment. When celebrities go quiet all at once, people dig. Because if Ashton was really in the clear, why the complete blackout? And that wasn't the only part of his past being re-examined.
And he gave specific examples of how Diddy used his power over Cassie's career, testifying, quote, Diddy told her that one time if she keeps having a smart-ass mouth, her little mixtape won't be coming out. Nash said Diddy broke a promise to monetize one of Cassie's mixtapes, even though it was a top download when released for free.
Before the Hollywood fame and tech investments, Ashton had a serious run-in with the law. Back in high school, he broke into his own school building, not as a prank, but reportedly to access a test and take some cash. He was caught, faced charges, and it affected his entire future. Scholarships gone, voting rights lost, clean image shattered. Years later, after gaining success, that record, it was wiped clean, expunged. And just like that, the past was erased. But deleting paperwork doesn't change history. And what came after would only raise more eyebrows.
Nash testified that he thinks only about 10%, and he was being generous there, of Cassie's music ever saw the light of day. But while Diddy was allegedly holding back her songs, Nash said Diddy was threatening to expose her sex tapes. He testified about one incident when Diddy pushed Cassie out of her apartment. She and Nash drove away, but then Diddy called and demanded they pull over.
Ashley Ellerin was young, bright, and dating Ashton when her life ended tragically. That night, Ashton was supposed to pick her up. He showed up late, knocked, no answer. So what did he do? He looked through her window, saw red stains on the floor, assumed it was wine, and left. By morning, Ashley had been found. The details were heartbreaking. But what stuck with people was Ashton's reaction. Who sees something that is unsettling and just leaves? For years, fans questioned that moment. Some called it a shock. Others weren't so sure. And Ashley wasn't the only person connected to Ashton who ended up at the center of tragedy.
The prosecutor asked Nash, "What did you hear Mr. Combs say when he came up to the car window?" Nash answers that she effed up and that he was going to put her sex tapes on the internet. He was going to release them on schedule, and that he was going to first start by sending them to her parents' jobs, and he was going to get them fired. Nash told Cassie to let Diddy release the tapes because he'd be on them too.
Brittany Murphy passed away at 32. Cause of death? Pneumonia and anemia. Tragic, but not unheard of. Until her husband, Simon Monjack, passed just months later. Same location, same cause. It raised a lot of questions. Brittany had a history with Ashton. And then came Kim Porter, another high-profile figure who passed under similar circumstances. All young, all with ties to a very specific inner circle. Ashton wasn't far from any of them. And with each new detail, people began noticing patterns that didn't sit right.
The prosecutor asked, "How did Cassie respond when you said that Puff was on the videos as well?" Well, she said that he wasn't on the videos, that it was him taping her with other guys. And Nash testified that Cassie told him she didn't want to have sex with the other men, but she did it because Diddy wanted her to. Nash's testimony wasn't the only big moment in court today. Even before lunch, the defense pushed the judge to declare a mistrial.
Ashton wasn't just a guest at those infamous celebrity parties. He helped host them. The guest list was elite, the rules unwritten, the silence unspoken. These weren't just celebrations. They were environments shrouded in secrecy. Ashton, along with Danny Masterson and Wilmer Valderrama, was part of what insiders dubbed the New Hollywood Rat Pack. And while no one talks openly about what happened behind closed doors, the whispers haven't stopped. Reports of inappropriate behavior, questionable guests, and a strong culture of protection. And Ashton? He wasn't just present, he was in the core circle. Managing optics in public while staying tight-lipped behind the scenes. But not even his public work could stop people from raising questions.
Why? Well, the defense was not happy with the prosecution for questioning an arson investigator when the witness told the jury that fingerprint evidence from Kid Cudi's home was destroyed without his authorization. The defense argued the prosecution was suggesting that Diddy was somehow responsible for destroying it, and that intimation would not be enough to unring the bell. The judge denied the mistrial motion, but told the jury to ignore the testimony. One of Diddy's lawyers told the judge, "There is no way to unring this bell." One thing that we're going to hear about from Wagmeister on the testimony of Deontay Nash.
Thorn, the nonprofit Ashton helped create to fight child exploitation online, once seemed like the shining star of his reputation. But under scrutiny, even that came under fire. Some documents appeared redacted. Others raised more questions than answers. And then, without warning, Ashton stepped down from Thorn's board. No big announcement, no farewell, just gone. Some say it was strategic, a move to protect the organization from controversy. Others say it was a sign the pressure was getting too intense. And the timing? Right as more eyes turned toward Diddy's case and those connected to him. And then there's Mila. Ashton and Mila Kunis were the Hollywood fairy tale, on screen and off. But lately, insiders claim she filed for divorce quietly, without fanfare. Social media posts vanished. Statements dried up. Sources say she had been pulling away ever since Ashton's name became linked to unfolding scandals. The couple's public rebrand? A clear shift. Photos with Danny Masterson? Gone. Any trace of that party circuit? Scrubbed. And that kind of silence often says more than words. Then there are the stories that keep resurfacing. Ashton and Lindsay Lohan allegedly had a brief connection when she was underage. She later dated Wilmer, also older, also part of Ashton's circle. Then came Demi Lovato, who described Wilmer as like a brother until she turned 18. Later, she admitted their relationship started before then. In the background, Ashton was always there. Whether directly involved or not, people noticed the timeline. And when actress Davy Chase's life spiraled after attending a party with Diddy and Ashton, the speculation only grew. Her career vanished and trouble followed. People weren't calling it coincidence anymore. They were calling it a trend. One online account claimed Wilmer co-owned a bar where underage guests were frequently seen. Staff were allegedly told not to ID people at specific tables. Ashton, allegedly irregular. Megan Good was named as a possible investor. The story painted a chilling picture. This wasn't some random party scene. It was organized. If even part of that is true, the implications are serious. Ashton, who publicly championed online safety for children, was allegedly deep in a world where lines were blurred and accountability was optional. From the outside, he was the responsible one. Behind the scenes, some say he was far from it. For years, Ashton Kutcher built the perfect public image. Smart, clean-cut, philanthropic. But that version is starting to crack. The more you look, the harder it is to ignore the stories, the rumors, the connections. He's no longer with Thorne. Mila is allegedly out. And the questions keep piling up. Through it all, Ashton has stayed silent. No interviews, no clarifications, just a quiet fade from the spotlight. And while silence can protect someone, it can also speak volumes. So now it's up to everyone watching to ask, is Ashton just laying low, or has his carefully built image finally started to collapse? So what do you think? Is Ashton just keeping his head down, or is there way more to this story than anyone's admitting? Drop your theories in the comments, smash that like button, and don't forget to subscribe. We're not done exposing what's really going on in Hollywood.